Welcome back. So now that we've done the 8 steps or rather the 8 conditions of lawful processing of personal information, we're going to delve into other important aspects of the POPIA Act, okay, and then how you, as the responsible party, can ensure compliance with the POPIA Act, okay. So now we're going to delve into the steps that a responsible party needs to take in order to manage a data breach, okay. So the first one is identify the breach. So you need to identify and confirm that a breach has occurred. So a breach means that data subject's personal information has been leaked to an unauthorized party. Okay. And then the next step that you need to do is to contain the breach. So you need to take immediate steps to contain and mitigate the impact of the breach that happened. And then the third one is you must assess the risks that are involved as a result of this breach or as a result of the data subject's personal information being leaked to an unauthorized source. Then the fourth step will be to notify the information regulator. So this is also a key requirement by the POPIA Act that whenever a responsible party suffers a data breach, they need to report the breach to the information regulator. And then another one is notification to the data subject. So the responsible party needs to provide clear communication to the data subject that is easy to understand about the breach and the potential risks that are associated with the breach and what steps can the data subject take in order to protect themselves from this breach that has occurred. Okay. So just to recap on our terminology that we use, remember that a responsible party is the business that processes personal information. For example, XYZ Bank or Shuguma Enterprises or so and so recruitment agency. So that is known as that is known as the responsible party. And then a data subject is the person whose personal information is being processed. So the data subject can be an employee, it can be a customer, etc., etc. It can be a job seeker. So that is the person whose personal information you are processing. Okay. So then the next one, after notification to the data subject, an investigation must be done. So the responsible party must undertake an investigation to see what caused the data breach and what are the vulnerabilities in their system that caused the data breach to occur. So it could be that maybe an employee disclosed something that they were not supposed to disclose. So the vulnerability in their system would be that the employees need training on cyber security, cyber awareness, POPIA awareness training. So when I refer to POPIA, I'm referring to Protection of Personal Information Act. So maybe it could be that the employees need training on such. And then the remedy. So the responsible party needs to implement certain remedies in order to correct the situation and to make sure that it does not happen in future. So as with the example of where maybe the data breach occurred, as a result of the information giving away the data subjects to an unauthorized party, then it could be that the remedy is conducting awareness training for all the staff that are present to prevent the incident from occurring in a similar way ever again. Okay. And then the next one is record keeping. So you need to maintain a comprehensive record of the breach, the steps that you took, the solutions that were implemented, and then the one that is also important, which I put in the middle so that it stands out. This one has to do with communication with stakeholders. So you need to communicate with internal and external stakeholders, meaning you communicate with your employees, you communicate with your customers, business partners, and then you keep them informed about the breach and the steps that you have taken to address it. Okay. So in order to actually make it practical, let's go through the data breach that was suffered by ABSA in 2020. So you can read through this one. It's going to be included in my manual as well. It's also available on the ABSA website. So this is a data breach that ABSA had suffered. So this is how they worded it, but I'm not going to read line by line. So this is how we'd read the first line. ABSA advises that an employee has unlawfully made selected customer data available to a small number of external parties. the leaked data relates to a small portion of ABSA South Africa customer base to date, although investigations continue. Okay. And then they tell us what they did upon discovering the contravention. So they said they obtained high court orders that enabled a search and seizure operation at various premises and secured all the devices that are containing the data of the data subjects. And then they say the data that was obtained from these illegal entities was subsequently destroyed. And then they say that they've enhanced the monitoring of customer accounts that have been affected up to date, and they will continue, or rather, that they will contact the customers that have been impacted by this data breach directly. Okay. Then they do say that they've brought criminal charges against the employee, and they've also done their internal procedures to deal with the situation. Assuming they're referring to their disciplinary measures to deal with the employee that leaked this data. And then they do say that they've put additional control measures to minimize their reoccurrence of in future. So the additional measures, even though they don't go into detail, it might be maybe that it is POPIA awareness training for all the employees, updating, beefing up their policies and procedures. Okay, so let us just go back to the steps that need to be followed and then compare it against the data breach suffered by ABSA. Okay. So they did identify the breach, they did contain the breach, and they did assess the risks that are involved with the breach. They've monitored the accounts of the affected data subjects. So in this case, the data subjects, it's us, customers of ABSA. They notified the Information Regulator. So there is a form that is available on the Information Regulator's website that you can actually use to inform the Information Regulator of a data breach that has occurred in your organization as a responsible party. Okay. Notification of data subjects. So they did notify us as their customers. They did send us SMSs notifying us of this data breach. They did conduct an investigation, a thorough investigation on what caused the breach, and it was identified that it was an employee who caused the breach, and the vulnerability in the security measures, it might have been, but this is not what they said. This is my assumption that it might have been lack of training, or it might just have been a person that was being mischievous. And then the remedy that they did tell us that they're monitoring the accounts of the affected data subjects, record keeping, and they did communicate with us, assuming that they communicated with their internal stakeholders as well, because the notification was available on their website. So this is going to be twofold. I'm going to use it as part of my online training, but I'm also going to use it as part of my awareness on my YouTube channel. So if you are accessing this on the YouTube channel and you are interested to find out more about the POPI Act, please do go on to the DIY POPI Act that I do have available, and then you can obtain all the policies and procedures that you need to be POPIA compliant. And then you can also access this training, and you can also access the PowerPoint presentation together with the manual. Okay, but if you'd like a live training, whether be it online live training or me coming to your premises, you can also visit my website to inquire or drop a comment in the comment section if you're watching this from YouTube.